Yes, people. Welcome back to another edition of From a Third Eye View on Pi Radio, brought to you by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note. I'm not joined by my fellow co-host Stro, but big up to Mr. I see more in the night than you've seen in your life, Stro. He out here, he busy, he working, dealing with life things. You know what I'm saying? He got the big 5-star, not even 5-star, 5-bedroom house. You get what I'm saying? And that the big 5-bedroom house with the loft. It's gonna be 6 bedrooms because they're gonna convert the loft, maybe even the Stella. The cellar, sorry, it might be 7 with his triple glazing windows and his football. You get me? His football club. Football club. His football pitch, back garden. But big up to everyone who is supporting From a Third Eye View and Pi Radio in whatever capacity is much appreciated, and it does not go unnoticed. So for those that haven't seen From a Third Eye View before, it is a Premier League show, myself and Stro, and we discuss all things Premier League. But what we do when it's international break, obviously we answer any questions. You all have any questions regarding football in the Premier League, so it's Q&A, but we'll also rate every team in the Premier League team seat, every Premier League's team in the seat, their season so far on a scale of 0 to 10, and give our reasons as to why. This is the third one now, because there's already been 2 international breaks, because there was one last month and there was one in September, one in October, now one in November. There isn't another one, I know, for at least into the new year, which is great because international breaks are just jarring. Like, nobody really cares. I can't say nobody cares. I don't care. Unless it's a major international tournament, I don't care for it. Unless it's the World Cup, unless it's the Euros, it's Copa America, it's the African Cup of Nations. I don't care for it. I'm not interested in England playing San Marino or Albania or Andorra or Azerbaijan or whoever else. Like, the international tournaments, I am all for. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Please make sure, if you are watching this on YouTube, whether you're watching it live right now or you're watching this back, hit the like button on the video. Vitally important you do that. Hit the like button on the video, share it across all the socials, and subscribe to the Pi Radio YouTube as well. Make sure you do that. And if you're listening in by a more traditional radio means, DAB, it's much appreciated, and it does not go unnoticed. So normally what I do when we do these rating every single team in the Premier League team, when we do rating every Premier League team in season so far, normally I ask Straw, and I'm like, do you want to start from the top of the table or do you want to start from the bottom of the table? Large up to Sasha as well, who says, big up Flawless, hope you're good. Large up to you, Sasha, every time. I hope you're blessed as well. And don't forget, people, you lot get your questions in. So say, for instance, you have questions on the whole Harry Maguire celebration, what Roy Keane said, the responses that's got from, I think it was Gabby Agbonalaho, who criticized Roy Keane and called him a bully. So if you want me to speak on that or anything else Premier League related, let me know. Where to start? We'll start at the bottom of the table. So Norwich currently sat bottom of the league, even though they actually got their first win. And I'm seeing here, yeah. So they're joint bottom, 5 points. No, not even 5 points. Sorry. How many points they on? Yeah, they're on 5 points, Norwich. Can only give them, I think me and Stroll last month gave them a 0. Suppose it's a 1 because they got the 1 win. Like, that's the only difference. Because legit, they got that 1 win. But they're still bottom of the league. And they're still probably going to get relegated. So a 1 simply for that 1 win. Because it was impressive. To beat Brentford is very impressive, even though Brentford are on a poor run of form. But to go away to Brentford and win, we've seen teams struggle there. We've seen Chelsea get the win, but it wasn't comfortable. We've seen Arsenal go there and struggle as well. We've seen that. So yeah, I'd probably say for Norwich, I'd give them a 1. I would simply, and that 1 is simply for that 1 win. Newcastle also on 5 points. Still haven't won a game. 11 in. We're 11 games in, and Newcastle still haven't won a game. So I would say, Newcastle, you guys got to be a 0. If you've not won a game yet out of 11, like, it has to be. Like, we're closing in now on a third of the season. Season is 38 games in the Premier League, and you've played 11 matches and still haven't picked up a win and have 5 draws and 6 losses. Like, it can only be a 0. That is an absolutely horrific start to a season. A horrific start to a season. And let me just look at their matches as well. And they have Brentford next, which at home, which isn't going to be easy. Yes, Eddie Howe's gone in there. Yes, Eddie Howe has gone in there. However, I don't know. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. The January transfer window is a much more important window for Newcastle than the one in the summer. Because I believe if they don't get this right, they don't get that January transfer window right, they're getting relegated. because with that current crop of players is not good enough to keep them in the Premier League. They have to invest in January, and if they don't get that right, they are getting relegated, which sets their plan back at least 4 or 5 years. So now you got the richest owners in the world, and you're in the Championship. Do I believe they get out of the Championship? Yes, absolutely, because they just spend money. But now there's a certain player you can't attract. Maybe that's why they went for Eddie Howe, is to get them out of the to get them out of the Championship if that does happen. As I said this before, and I say this again, it's a very underwhelming appointment, extremely underwhelming appointment to me. And that's no disrespect to Eddie Howe, because I rate Eddie Howe as a manager. What I'm saying is, if Newcastle didn't have that takeover and Steve Bruce was sacked, getting Eddie Howe in wouldn't have been a shock. Like, he's still in the mix. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Eddie Howe is still 110% in the mix if the takeover doesn't happen and Steve Bruce is sacked. I'm expecting Newcastle to go get someone that makes everyone go, whoa. Newcastle just got Kante. Newcastle just went and appointed Emery. Newcastle just went and got Graham Potter. Go and get someone the level above, similar to how when Everton got Carlo Ancelotti. That makes everyone go, whoa. Everton got Carlo Ancelotti. And then they went and signed James Rodriguez. That's what I was expecting from the Newcastle owners, to come in with a plan and be meticulous and move expeditiously. That's what I'm expecting with and it's not been that way. To me, Eddie Howe is an extremely underwhelming appointment, because that's someone they could have got. Like, show your clout. Show that you are the richest owners in the league. And Eddie Howe is just, they could easily get relegated. And I believe if they don't get the January transfer window right, they could easily get relegated, like 110%. I could see that happening. Without question. I could see that happening. Yeah. Big up to everyone in the comments as well. Large up you lot. Big up to Danny as well, says big up Flawless. Sasha says, do you think the changes of manager will help Norwich and Newcastle? Yeah, that's it. I don't just seen your question now, but yeah, that's what I was talking with Newcastle. Maybe. Again, I think Eddie Howe, if you give him good enough players to stay in the league, he'll stay in the league. But Newcastle now have to go and do that. As for Norwich, I think they're gone, because Lampard's rejected it. They went and got Dean Smith. Norwich don't have the financial firepower that Newcastle have. Like, Newcastle can attempt to buy themselves out of this. Newcastle can attempt to do that, whereas Norwich can't do that. So I think Norwich are gone. So I don't believe that the managerial change at Norwich helps, and the managerial change at Newcastle is a help if they get the window right. I expect them to go in, but it's very tough to sign players in January. But I expect them to go and pay over the odds. A player that is worth 20 mil, they might have to pay 60 million for, because everyone knows, one, they've got money, and two, they're in a desperate situation. So that's what I'd say on that. Where else we at? Who is next? Who's currently 18th? Burnley. Burnley, who a lot of people have tipped to go down for various reasons. I think it's two main reasons. One, people just don't like the style of play and they're tired of it. Similar to how more than a few seasons ago, when Stoke was in the Premier League, people just disliked them strongly. And Burnley kind of have that. Whereas, is their football pretty? No, but it's effective and they stay in the Premier League. They finished 7th and got into Europe. Like, that's credit to Sean Dyche, but because they don't play pretty football, people try and discredit it. It's like, no, you have to give Burnley full credit. However, 18th is not good. 1 win from 11 is not good either. That is not good at all. Only on 8 points. However, they got an impressive draw against Chelsea. There's not many teams that are going to go to the Bridge and get a point. So, like, that, I can't say impressive performance, impressive result. That's what I say about that. Very impressive result. And then to beat Brentford 3-1. So they've kind of turned it around, because if they don't get 4 points from these 2 games, they bottom of the league. And then they got Crystal Palace at home after that. You got a couple home games. You got Palace at home, Spurs at home, then you got Burnley away, Newcastle away. So they'll be looking at the next 4 games and go, we can get points from that. But it has been a poor start. What would I give Burnley so far? Probably a 2. Probably give Burnley a 2. That's what I'd say. I'd give Burnley a 2. I would say so on that. So that makes up the bottom 3. So Norwich, I gave a 1-2. Newcastle 0. Burnley, I gave a 2. Now on to Watford, who are another team who've had a managerial change. I've had a couple poor results under the new manager, but then I've had a great result with the Everton game. They're currently sat 17th on 10 points, and they have Manchester United coming up next, so that's going to be good. That is going to be what did I give Watford so far this season. I have to look here. Yeah, they got beat by Arsenal, where the ref was just playing against them. Then they had Southampton at they had Southampton at home where they were very disappointing, extremely disappointing. Away to Everton, very impressive. Got beat by Liverpool, but Liverpool can do that to anybody. The Leeds performance was poor as well. So it's a mixed bag from them. It is a mixed bag because on the one hand, you got an impressive result like Everton, but then on the other hand, you've got the Southampton game sticks out. The Leeds game sticks out. The Newcastle game sticks out. Obviously, all these are not under Ranieri at all. The Wolves game sticks out, as does the Brighton one as well, as poor performances. But then they did beat Villa on the opening day. So what would I give Watford so far? Probably. It's tough. And you lot in the comments get involved as well. You lot in the comments can get involved in this. Probably. What would I give Watford? The roundabouts where you would expect them to finish in the league in terms of battling relegation. 3 wins from 11, 7 losses. Even if you convert a couple of them to a draws, then that can bump you up the table. I'd say got to split into two because one half was Cisco, but the majority of the season has been Cisco, and then the rest of the season has been has been Ranieri. Probably say a 3 so far. I'd say a 3 so far because they're not in the relegation zone. But they would have expected to do better against Leeds, expected to do better against Newcastle, expected to do better against Southampton, but then they got this. Yeah, so I'd say a 3 for Watford. I'd give Watford a 3. That's what I'd say. All right, Aston Villa, who sacked their manager. Very disappointing after the transfer window they sold Jack Grealish, brought in the likes of Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, and it's not worked, and that's why Dean Smith was sacked. 3 wins from 11, very poor. Very, very poor. They can't be sacked 16th after 11th. I'd say a 2. I'd say a 2. Big up to Ryan in the cut as well. Definitely, I'd say a 2 for Aston Villa. All right. Leeds United. Leeds United, another team that are underachieving because people expected big things. Like Bielsa gets a lot of credit and it's thoroughly deserved, but they've had a poor season. 2 wins from 11. They've had less wins than Villa, who have sacked their manager. Less wins than Watford, who sacked their manager. Only 1 more win than Burnley and Norwich. Like I know Bamford's been injured, but geez, that's poor from Leeds, signed 15th. But Manchester United I want them to go down 110%. So I'd say Leeds. Very poor. 2 wins from 11. They realized it was only 2 wins. Let me see who they've actually beat. I know one of them was Watford. And then the other one I think is Norwich. Yeah, 2-1. They beat Norwich on the 31st of October. So that was a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, they beat Watford at the start of October. That's poor. I'd say a 2 for Leeds. That is shocking. 110%, I'd say a 2 for them. That is abysmal. I didn't realize they'd only had 2 wins. I didn't realize that whatsoever. All right, Brentford, who started the season on fire. And when we did this early, like we was rating and ranking Brentford very highly. But then 4 losses in a row is not it. I'm saying at home to Norwich. Then he lost away at Burnley. Lost at home to Leicester, who haven't been playing well. Chelsea can do that to anybody. But yeah, the Leicester at home, the Burnley away, the Norwich at home. They would have been looking more than 0 points. Because if you say they beat Norwich and they beat Burnley or Leicester, say they get 6 points, how much higher that puts them up the table. And it doesn't make them safe, but it gives them a comfortable cushion. Now they're currently 12 points. If you add 6 points onto that, they'd be higher than United. They'd be 6 currently. And I don't think it's out of the realms. Or even if it was 3 points against Norwich, they're bumping up the table. Let me check their goal difference. So they say they beat Norwich. Like, you're much higher up the table. They're in 10th. So yeah, I would say Brentford so far, because of the start they had, it's been a very disappointing. Them last 3 games, very disappointing. 4 L's in a row. which is relegation form. Can't be doing those stuff. Well, they are still sat 14th and mid-table. If you would have told a Brentford fan, you'd be after 11 games, you'd be sat in 14th, 4 points clear of the drop zone. They would have took that. I'd say a 4. I'd give Brentford a 4. So I'll give Norwich a 1. Newcastle, I'll recap these as I go through. So Norwich a 1, Newcastle a 0, Burnley a 1, I believe I gave them. Yeah, gave them a 1. Watford I gave a 3. Villa I gave a 2. Leeds I gave a 2. Brentford I gave a 4. On to Southampton. One of the teams I tipped to go down, and they've managed to pick up some wins. They managed to pick up some good results recently, and that's helped them out. Like they beat Villa 1-0, and that was the end of Dean Smith. They beat Watford away 1-0, drew 2-2 at home to Burnley, beat Leeds at home as well. It's kind of like they turned it around. You got 3 points, 4, 7, 10. So they got 10 points from their last 12. 10 points from that. That's very impressive because it's not exactly like it was an easy run or they were gimmies. Or they were like, yeah, definite. Because if not, if they don't get that 10 points, they in the relegation zone. So you have to give Southampton full credit. Have to give Southampton full credit. Ryan says Newcastle have appointed a great manager, to be fair. A great manager, a good manager. Like, relax. Eddie Howe is a good manager. Like, he's not great. Once he's done that's great, he's a good manager. Like, cut it out. Talking like he's top 4 or something. You know, he's a great manager, Ryan. Kante. That's a great manager. Eddie Howe is a good manager. You need to relax with these verbs that you be throwing out there. You need to relax. All right, and I even read in the last comment. That is blasphemous. Leicester, 12th. Probably the most disappointing team alongside Aston Villa of the season so far, I would say. Definitely. After finishing 5th for the second season in a row, after winning the FA Cup as well, you expected more from Leicester, and it really hasn't happened. Sat in 12th after 11 games, only 15 points. Very, very disappointing. Extremely disappointing. Like I say, the 1-1 draw away at Leeds. They got beat by Arsenal 2-0. They got an impressive result away at Brentford. And they got an impressive result against United. But other than that, no, I'm looking here. 2-2 away at Palace. 2-2 at home to Burnley. 2-1 loss away at Brighton. Obviously, Manchester City can beat anyone. They beat Norwich 4-1 at Leicester. 4-1 at West Ham, a team they struggle against. Very, very disappointing from Leicester. Extremely. I was expecting so much more. Expecting so much more. What do I give them on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, 0 to 10, I should say. Do I give Leicester? I'm trying to think. Because it has been. Yeah, it's been underwhelming. It's got to be a 3. It's got to be a 3. Not even in the top half. Got to be a 3. Here's another interesting one. Sat in 11th, Everton, who do have a very good manager in Rafa Benitez. Sat in 11th, and they're looking at Europe, and they're only 2 points off. They're only 2 points off 6. It's like Everton. I've been impressed when I have watched them. I have been impressed. Big on Noah in the cut as well. Don't worry, I will get to you lot's comments in as well. Don't worry about that. Get any questions in also. Get any questions in. But he says, big up Flawless, bro. Walk on for Stroll. Stroll just can't make it this week. He'll be back next week, but Stroll's good. Stroll's good. Having a look here. Yeah, Everton. 0-0 at home to Spurs, which with Kante coming into town with the new manager bounce, that's a good result for Everton. That is a good result for Everton. Without question. Without question. So I'd say that. Then they lost 2-1 away at Wolves. You expect them to get something. The 5-2 at home to Watford, they were shocking. Watford were fully deserving of the 5-2 win. Lost at home to West Ham. West Ham were very impressive that game. I watched that full game. They were very impressive. 1-1 against Manchester United. They really should have beat us. Then they beat Norwich 2-0. Lost 3-0 at Villa. So their season kind of tailed off because they started well. When I'm going up to their results, they started well. 3-1 at home to Southampton. 2-2 draw away at Leeds. Beat Brighton away 2-0, which is no easy feat. Burnley at home, they beat. And then, even though they lost to Villa, they beat Norwich, and it's like, all right, kick on from there. 1-1 against Manchester United, okay, that can happen, even though they should have won that game. Everton away. West Ham at home, they were very disappointing. Then the Watford game was bad. Then the Wolves game. So they've really tailed off. Even if they pick up a couple results, they're in 5th, 6th. It was like a kind of like a missed opportunity so far. I'd give them a 4. Well, I'd say that's just slightly underachieving. I would say so. I don't even know if that's the real Statman Baines, to be honest. I'm not even sure. But big on my guy Baines. Noah says flawless Liverpool will whack us. We'll get into that. Don't worry about all that. We will. So I'd say I'm for Crystal Palace sat in 10th. Very impressive. Vieira's done a very, very, very good job with Crystal Palace. Because again, they were one of my tips before a ball was kicked. I thought they're in trouble for relegation. But he's gone playing good football and productive football as well. If you hear noise in the background, people, that's just people around Pi Radio moving around. Make sure you hit the like button on the video as well. And what I'm currently doing is rating every team in the Premier League, rating every team in the Premier League their season so far. Give me your thoughts as well, people. What are you scoring? 0 to 10? Let me know. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, and reasons as to why as well. Let me know your reasons as to why. Yeah, I'm currently 10th. Currently at 10th place now in the Premier League. Yeah, Crystal Palace, like I was saying, very impressive. And again, they've probably missed some opportunities as well. But I suppose all teams in the bottom half, you can say that for them. That's why they're sat in the bottom half. It was 2-0 at home to Wolves, impressive. 2-0 away at Manchester City. Not many teams will go to Manchester City and win. The 1-1, but then I look at it, the 1-1 draw to Newcastle. Should have beat Arsenal 2-2. 2-2 against Leicester. Should have beat Brighton as well. Got beat by Palace. They got beat by Liverpool at Anfield. Drew away to West Ham. I say impressive. I've been impressed with them. I'd say a 6. I'd say a 6. If someone would have told you Crystal Palace would be 10th after 11 games, I would have been like, no. So to be 10th and you're 2 points from 6, you're only 5 points from 5th, who are Arsenal. Now you got to give them full credit. And you got to give Vieira and those players full credit. That's what I would say. So that's the bottom half. So Norwich, I gave a 1-2. Newcastle, I gave a 0. Burnley, a 1. Watford, a 3. Aston Villa, a 2. Leeds, a 2. Brentford, I gave a 4, I believe. Yeah, Brentford, I gave a 4. Southampton, also a 4. Leicester, a 2. Everton, 4. Crystal Palace, 6. Which is 10th. All right, let's go to 9th place. Spurs. Again, another team who've sacked their manager. And you gotta kind of split it into 2 with Everton. You gotta kind of split it into 2. With Spurs, because Kante's gone in there and how woeful they were on the in the dubbed El Sakiko. They made Manchester United look good. I could not believe what I was seeing. And after talking to Spurs fans before the game, I thought he was being a bit harsh on Nuno. Then I watched that game and I was like, I fully understand why you want this man gone. Like, I fully get it. Fully get it. Yes, Ryan, 4 for Brentford because their recent form. They've lost their last 4. They lost to Norwich, drew to Burnley. No, lost to Burnley and Norwich. Chelsea you can throw in the mix. But yeah, that's why I said 4 for Brentford. Because people are waxing lyrical about Brentford. And they're only 4 points from the drop. They're legit only 4 points from the drop. If they had got a win against a Burnley or a Norwich, I said this before, they'd be sat 10th. Comfortable. And this is so far. Like Brentford before, I think we gave a big number to in the last time we did this. It was like a 7 or 8. I think it was like a 7 or 8. But back to Spurs, they're probably round about where they should be. And if this was Nuno, it'd be different. Yeah, block the fake Statman Baines, people. Now that's harsh on Brentford. I would have given them at least a 6. All right, well, I said 4, you said 6. So 5 is probably about right. But is that average season for them? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Where else we at? Where was they at? Yeah, Spurs anyway. I'm looking here. Obviously, they drew away at Everton. Lost to United. It's hard to judge because it's not Kante's team. He's managed one match in terms of in the Premier League. So I can't really say. So I'm not judging Kante on this. I'm judging Spurs. And they're probably round about where they would expect to be, maybe a couple places higher. Because they'll be looking at Europe. They'll be looking at top 7 to get into the Europa League. They're currently in the Super Conference League as well. And they're not far off. So I'd say a flat 5. Someone riding high. I didn't realize we're riding this high until I've just noticed this team. Wolves. sat in 8th. Yeah, they lost 2-0 to Palace in their last game, but then they beat Everton 2-1, drew away at Leeds, beat Villa 3-2, beat Newcastle at home, beat Southampton away. Yeah, lost to Brentford, but then they beat Watford before that as well. So yeah, Wolves have been on a run still. I'd say Crystal Palace is 3 points, Everton 6, Leeds is the draw, that's 7, that's 10, that's 13. Jeez, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's very impressive from Wolves. That's extremely impressive. Actually, I didn't realize that they was on this run since they beat Wolves. I mean, since they beat Southampton away the 26th of September. That's three, like I said, 3, 6, 9, 10, 13, 16. It's up 16 points in their last 6 games. Jesus. I did not know that. Very impressive from Wolves. That is extremely impressive from Wolves. Believe that is a fake United view in the chat. Yeah. It's because why would he say big up? My name is like Walaja. Wolves get an 8. What is that? Wolves get an 8. Beautiful team to watch now. An 8. You know what? You might be right. Noah says flawless 0 points in 4 games is peak. Facts. That was my point. That was a point on Brentford. Can't go through that. Well, yeah, I didn't realize Wolves were on with this high in the table. Very impressive. Someone said Wolves 8 because they were a team tipped to be battling relegation as well. So to be sat 16th, gotta give them full credit. To be sat on 16 points in 8th place after 11 games, very impressive. I'd say a 7.5. I'd say a 7.5. 110%. I'd say a 7.5. 100%. Yeah, Ryan, you might actually be right with Wolves. You said 8. I said 7.5, but I wouldn't begrudge you an 8 in the slightest. I would not begrudge you an 8 in the slightest. Not at all. On to Brighton, certainly currently sat 7th on 17 points, level with Manchester United, only 3 from 5, 3 from 5th. I'll give them credit as well. Brighton have always impressive though. Graham Potter, good manager, and he's getting the most out of his team. That's what I would say. Probably a fake Aaron as well, people. I'll let you know though. Aaron, if that's you, message me, but I highly doubt it is. But Brian here, I'm saying 1-1 at home to Newcastle should be beating Newcastle. I know I'm being harsh here, but you have to take advantage of those. 2-2 away at Anfield is very, very good performance. Extremely good. They lost at home to City, but City will do that to people. 0-0 at Norwich, not good. 0-0 at Arsenal, good point. To get the late equalizer away at Crystal Palace as well. They beat Leicester before that, went away to Brentford. Brentford and won, which is very impressive. So I would say for Brighton, for that team, yeah, it's an 8 for Brighton. To be sat in a European spot, has to be. They're sat in the Europa League spot. Has to be an 8 for Brighton, without question. Highly impressive. 4 wins from 11. Only 2 defeats. Only 2 defeats. It's very impressive. One of those is Manchester City. One of those is Manchester City. That's very impressive. Extremely. Oh, yeah. Bro, they came and battered us at Anfield. No, I hear that. They came and did a job on you, look. 100%. I'd say an 8. Flawless, what show is it on Wednesday? What do you mean, Danny? What do you mean, what show is it on Wednesday? Ravi, I get to big up is Zidane, the man from Manchester United. Absolutely. Absolutely. What else we got? Now, this is going to be interesting. Man just mentioned it. 6th place, Manchester United, 17 points, 5 wins from 11, 4 losses. I legit hadn't thought about this up until now. How is our actual season going outside of all the extra stuff? Just going through our results. Horrendous when I go through our last few results. But then the performance is kicking to gear as well. The performance is kicking to gear. I don't forget. For the United to get, we definitely below where we should be. So it's definitely a 4 or less. Because there's no way we should be. This is tough. What are you lot telling me? Manchester United season so far on the scale of 0 to 10. What are you lot telling me? What are you lot telling me? Let me know. United gets a 7. You're doing well in your Champions League group, so that takes it up. Nah, man, it's Premier League only. Ryan, Premier League only. No, I heard yesterday in the watch along there's a show on Wednesday. Oh, just check out the upcoming live stream schedule, Danny. We're doing Jamaica USA, the World Cup qualifier. But again, you don't have to wait for me to go live. If you check the schedule, it'll tell you exactly what's going on. But yeah, it's Jamaica USA. One Danzo says, is Arteta proving himself as a manager or just on a good run? At the moment, just on a good run. But if that good run continues, then you have to look at him different. Where they finish in the season will tell you all you need to know about how good of whether he's had a good season or not. It's a fake me in the comments. Big up to the fake me in the comments as well. Danny's saying a 3 for Manchester United. A 3, you know. Noah's saying a 4. Ryan saying a 6. It's definitely not 6. I don't know what you're talking about. Only 6 we've got is the 6th place we're in. It's definitely not 6. 9 points off the top. 9 points. 5 points from 4th. 11 games in. Yeah, it's a 3. It's a 3. 100%. When you look at the teams we played and the teams Manchester United have lost to, I'm saying it's a 3. I'm saying it's a 3. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. Team who've done well recently. Arsenal, currently sat in 5th, 2 points from 4th, 6 points off the top of the table. Like they said, they beat Watford, beat Leicester away. Villa, they beat at home, drew at Palace. Drew at home to Palace, drew away to Brighton, beat Spurs in the North London derby. So I'd say they've been very impressive recently. More so recently, they've been very impressive. And not salvaged their season, but they've climbed up the table and deservedly so after some good results. I'd say for Arsenal, 7. I'd say a 7. For Arsenal, it's fair. Because they've impressed me in terms of where they're at currently, but we are only 11 games in. So I'm only judging people off this 11 games so far. That's it. Yo, remember at the end of last season when you did the end of season ratings and I gave Brighton a 9 and you had to go at me? Yeah, because they finished 15th. Was it 16th or 15th? And you gave him a 9? It's like, no. Like, you don't get that. Like, absolutely not. The Glazers aren't sacking Ollie till the end of the season, unfortunately. We'll soon find out. But I hope you're wrong, Uwa. And who do you support as well? Arsenal get a 10, they're overachieving so much. This is typical Ryan people, just over there, just being extra and doing too much. Definitely doing too much. Where else we at? Arsenal, I would say. Yeah, I gave Arsenal, yeah, I'd say a 7. All right, this one going to be interesting. Sat in 4th. 6 wins from 11, 4 draws, only the 1 loss. Liverpool. We went through their last few results. We started off the season very well in terms of results, almost higher up the table. West Ham 3-2, disappointing performance, disappointing result. Then they drew 2-2 to Brighton. Obviously, they beat United badly, beat Watford badly. Not even an impressive performance against City either. Drew to Brentford. Yeah. For Liverpool, it's probably a 6. Because they're not strongly underachieving because they're only 4 points off the top. But when you look at the points they've dropped and some of the performances they've put in, to me, it's a 6. They put in some not good performances. And some performances that are not good, is what I'd say. Ryan's saying a 5. I wouldn't argue that. I would not argue a 5. I'm saying a 6. I don't think it's an average season for you, though. Because you're only 4 points. I put it this way: if you were 2 points off the top, I'm probably giving you a 6 or 7. It's roundabout where you should be. It's very hard for Liverpool to get 8, 9, or 10 from me because I expected them to be top 3. I expected them to be top 3 and in and around it. And plus the season he started with as well. So that's what I'd say. Nah, you don't get a 4. You wild and Noah saying 5. I think a 5 is fair. I think that's fair. So yeah, West Ham United. And when I finish this as well, people, get your sporting questions in, get your Premier League questions in, and I'll answer some of your. It's rare you get me by myself, you know what I'm saying, on Pi Radio, on From a Fair Eye View, and in general for the regulars on Sarcasm City TV. So get your questions in. I'd say West Ham, very impressive. 3 points off the top, only 2 losses, 7 wins, beat Liverpool as well. The Hamid Liverpool, like impressive. 3-2 at home to Liverpool, 4-1 away at Villa. They were very impressive. 1-0 at home to Spurs, 1-0 away to Everton. Another game I watched where they were very impressive. They lost at home to Brentford, beat Leeds away. Yeah, very impressive. West Ham, it's got to be a 9. It's got to be a 9. Only 2 losses and 7 wins from 11. Has to be a 9. Extremely. Probably the highest number on the probably be the highest number. Has to be a 9 for Villa. Like, without question, sorry, not for Villa, for West Ham. Has to be. West Ham get a 10. They're performing so well in the league, whilst performing very well in the Europa League as well. It was Premier League only. But I hear your point, Ryan. I'm saying a 9. I'm saying a 9. But I wouldn't begrudge you someone was like a 9.5. All right, Manchester City. Again, same record as West Ham, which is going to sound crazy that we give West Ham a 9, but obviously we expect more from Manchester City. Only the 2 losses, only the 2 draws. Crystal Palace results a bad one. That's a bad one. But every team's going to get that. Like, we've seen it with Chelsea, with the Burnley game. We see it with Liverpool, with the Brentford game, with the Brighton game, with the West Ham game. Teams at the top end of the table are going to have those results. They bounce back in the Manchester derby, but losing at home to Palace. Look, where else have they dropped points? 2-2 against Liverpool, you're not going to begrudge. Very impressive win at the Bridge. Home to Southampton as well. Home to Southampton as well. Those 2 draws are, well, dropping points in those 2 are just... Because the other loss for Spurs on the opening day, which can happen. But the loss to Palace, the draw at home to Southampton are the 2 that stick out. I'd say for Manchester City, they're roundabouts where they should be. I'd say a 7. I'd say a 7. I wouldn't begrudge him a 7. Absolutely not. I wouldn't judge him a 7. Begrudge them a 7. Make sure you hit the like button on the video, people. Please make sure you hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the Pi Radio YouTube as well. Big up to everyone who's supporting. Big up to everyone who's listening via DAB Radio as well. What did you say? City got 7 from me. That's probably about right. That's why I give him. It's mad I'm actually agreeing with Ryan. It's crazy. The end is near. Yeah. I'd say a 7 is about right. Noah also said a 7. I think that's about right. All right, top of the table. Top of the table, Chelsea, my pick to win the Premier League from the jump. Chelsea, 11 games played. Is it 8 wins? 1 second, just waiting for this to load back up. Well, yeah, very impressive, very efficient. Like, Tuchel just defines German efficiency. And that's what Chelsea are. I've said it from the jump, said it all throughout the season. Chelsea are not going to look pretty while winning. They're not going to look ain't going to look pretty winning the Premier League. They ain't going to look pretty winning games. Yes, they beat Norwich 7-0, but I think that's a one-off. I don't expect them to blitz teams. I don't see them doing a Liverpool or Manchester City and beating teams 4-5, 6-0 on a regular basis. However, they're just going to 1-0 and 2-0 their way to this league title. That's exactly what they're going to do. That's exactly what I can see them doing. And that's exactly what they've been doing, minus the Norwich game. They beat Spurs 3-0. Don't get me wrong. Like, if they play a poor side, they'll put you to the sword. But they are just German efficiency. Clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. I believe they have the most clean sheets in the league. Might even be the best team defensively in the league as well. So, yeah, that's why. And it's going to take whoever finishes above Chelsea is going to be a great side. Whether that is City or whether that's Liverpool or another team, to finish above that Chelsea side is going to be a very tough ask. I'd say 8 wins from 11, 2 draws, 1 loss. One of those draws as well was at Anfield with 10 men, which is impressive. The City game is the only one you look at and go, yeah, should have done miles better. And Burnley as well. Because they had enough of the ball and enough possession and created enough chances to beat Burnley. Well, like I said about Manchester City, all teams at the top are going to have those results. The 1-1 to Burnley is the one that, yeah, you look at and go, gotta do better there. Have to do better there. But very impressive. Very, very impressive. Pretty much so. Probably an 8 for Chelsea. Probably would have been a 9 with the Burnley win. That's the only game you look at and go, you shouldn't have dropped points there. That's legit the only one. Who else did they draw against? Apart from Liverpool. Let me look back through this. Who did they draw against? Fucking there. So yeah, they drew against Liverpool. Lost to Manchester City. The Burnley one. Oh, it's only one draw. So why's it saying 2? Oh no, Burnley and Liverpool are the 2 draws. That's fair enough. It wasn't a loss. Very impressive. And just the one loss. Yeah, I'd say 8. 8.5. 8.5. Yeah, the end is near. I'd say 8, says Danny. I will give Chelsea an 8. I actually think they should be more points clear at the top because of the run they've had. The Burnley game's the only one that sticks out. It should be a couple more points ahead. I agree with that. Again, the end is near, people. Me and Ryan agreeing on things. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. So yeah, that concludes that, people. That concludes the rating of every team in the Premier League. Now, everybody in the comments, get your Premier League questions in. I'll answer your questions. I'm here. Q&A settings, people. Q&A settings. Ask me anything. So in regards to what we'll address, not the elephant in the room, because they ain't elephant. Manchester United, first and foremost, big up to my guy Saeed each and every time, because he was at the protest on Saturday in regards to Glazers out. Not many people shown up because our fan base is full of Egypts. Pretty much so. That's what it is. Our fan base is full of people who don't want what's best for Manchester United. They just want to be right. So the reason why I'm bigging up my guy Saeed, because I tweeted about this and people tried to criticize him. Bear in mind, he didn't set up the protest. That wasn't Saeed's protest. He just went to go and show support. He was trending on Twitter, people mocking him, people talking about, oh, he's in this for clout, all the usual stuff. He's in this for money. He's in this for views. It was about a meet and greet. He just wants to be famous, blah, blah, blah. The reason why Saeed has so much notoriety is because he's talented. Simple as that. That is the reason as to why Saeed has the support he has. That's why he does the views he has. This is why he makes money. This is why he's made this a career in terms of doing YouTube content creating, Twitch content creating. That's why he has endorsements. This is why he has sponsors, etc., etc. Because Saeed is very talented and people want to criticize him just because he was right. Because I had a few people posted back and one person tweeted me back and said, why do you think he gets the hate? The reason why Saeed gets the hate is simply because people don't like the fact that Saeed was right on this. And when I say right on this, I'm talking about the manager. That's legit what it is. People don't like the fact that Saeed was loud about it, but he was spot on. And now people are realizing it, rather than just hold their hands up and go, you know what? I might not like Saeed, but he was spot on about this. They'll continue to criticize and now try to go at other things. People don't want, that's why I didn't go. Our fan base ain't serious. And that's not everyone in, that's not every member of our fan base, but too many. They're much too not even a word. They're too busy and too concerned about what's going on with Saeed, what's going on with the rants, what's going on with the flex, what's going on with the Aaron. Why? Those 4 individuals I just named, they're all extremely talented as well. What's going on in the pitch is none of their fault. Those 4 have no bearing on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not being good enough, the coaching staff not being good enough, some of the players not being good enough, our board not being good enough, our owners not being good enough. They have no bearing. They're just giving their opinions on it. Same way I give my opinion on it. Same way others, whether you're in group chats, whether you're in your household, whether you're in a pub, whether you're in the stands, everybody has, all football fans have these conversations of every team. It doesn't matter if you support Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, team in the Championship, team in League One, team in League Two, a Saturday League team. You'll discuss with your teammates. I've played Saturday League before where you discuss who's played well and who's not. Who needs to play where. This needs to be done when it's going wrong or it's going right because of this. Like, people are wild. Absolute nonsense. That's what it is. An absolute nonsense. That's what it is. And people are just full of ish. That's what it is. Like, people don't want to be, and I repeat this again, people are just mad that he was right. So the reason why I was saying all that was just say big up to my guy Saeed. But our fan base don't really want the Glazers out. Otherwise, why are you in the megastore? Why in a mega store? Like even this hat I've gotten, like this one, I didn't buy this from no mega store and that. You know what I'm saying. I actually bought it for radio. The one Manchester United shirt I have recently and this cap is simply because we started doing From a Third Eye View and we needed some football merch to promote the show. Big up to Solomon, who I believe is watching this right now. That's head honcho. We needed football merch. I had the green and gold scarf already because before we've been doing the show over 2 years now. Before we started doing the show, it was under the Mourinho reign. I stopped watching Manchester United. I'm like, why am I letting Manchester United ruin my weekend? I stopped watching. And if it wasn't my job right now, I would stop watching again. I would have been stopped watching. Why am I watching this rubbish? I don't enjoy watching Manchester United no more. I don't enjoy watch-alongs to watch the game. I enjoy it because I'm on screen. Dan Sillyman will be there. My guy Eddie from Statesides will be there. Ahmed from Denmark will be there. The comments is lit. And we just running jokes and bands. I enjoy the NBA watch-alongs more. I enjoy the championship watch-alongs more. I enjoy watching every other team. I did a Brighton Watford watch-along when they played earlier in the season. I enjoyed that much more. Watford Everton. I enjoyed that much more. So that's just my thoughts on Manchester United. Well, I've said from the jump that this manager wouldn't survive this month. I think he goes in the international break, and I'm still standing by that. Someone asked me before, would that take Zidane? Absolutely. And I believe it's nonsense that Zidane wouldn't manage in the Premier League. Does he have his reservations? Yes. But if Manchester United go to open up negotiations with Zidane, Zidane is going to hear he's not going to close the door straight away. He'll be like, all right, let's see what you lot say. Negotiate the deal. Legit, that's what it is. Go and negotiate the deal. And that's how I look at it. He probably just wants reassurances and money. It's one of those two things. We've seen it with Kante at Spurs. Spurs approached Kante just a couple months back. Kante said no. They opened back up the conversation, and now Conte's there managing Tottenham Hotspur. That is simply because Kante, they've gone back in. Kante is now dealing with, in that deal, he's got what's the word I'm looking for? He's got he's the A side of that conversation. He's leveraged. That's the word I'm looking for. He's got the leverage in that conversation and in that deal. So he used that leverage to his advantage. He probably was like, right, I need X amount. Say, for instance, he was like, I need 150 million. And Spurs was like, we're only going to give you 75 million. And he said, no. Now, when they come back, he might go, I want 180 million. And Spurs go, you know what? Okay, cool. Or he's like, I want 4 or 5 players in January or maybe the summer. And they was like, no, we're only giving you 2 or 3. Or I want more say. Or we're going to pick the players. And he's like, no, I want more say. It's all about negotiating. That's all it is. It's negotiating. And all about whether you're the A side of the conversation or you're the B side and what leverage you have. When Spurs went to Kante the second time round, he's dealing with more of a position of leverage now. You need me now, even more so than before. So this whole thing that Zidane won't come, like, add more zeros on the contract and give him some reassurances. And I believe Zidane would come to Manchester United. Why would you not? Outside of PSG, I think it's the best job to walk into in terms of squad-wise. Definitely in club football. Zidane, the thing I think Zidane could wait on is the fact the French job or PSG job could become available, and they're both better jobs for him and better jobs in the long run, I believe. But right behind those two is Manchester United. I believe he comes. Look at the squad you have to deal with. Yes, does it have deficiencies? 100%. But every squad has deficiencies. Every single squad has deficiencies. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it anyway. But big up to my guy Saeed anyway. Haters are going to hate. That's what I'd say about that. People are going to be disgruntled. I said it in the tweet. People are more concerned about Saeed than Manchester United conceding 4 to Leicester, 5 at home to Liverpool, and getting slapped in embarrassing fashion by Manchester City. People were less mad about that. Certain people were tweeting less about that and more about Saeed on Saturday. Like he plays up front for us, or he's in the middle of the park. I'm saying, and why we need a central midfielder because he's not good enough and things. People are foolish. Yeah, and I really don't rant, but we move. I'm just going to veto that comment as well. Really going to veto. But Zidane will come in. You lot get your final questions in. I'll be here for about 10 more minutes or so, and then we're going to leave the show. But Stroll will be back next week, people. Do not forget that. Stroll will be back next week. And the England kick off against San Marino. What time is that? What time did they kick off? Let me know, people. But let me run back through as well. So we'll see. Like I say, Norwich, poor season. Newcastle, poor. Burnley, poor. Watford, below average, but do have a new manager in. Villa, very poor. Leeds, very poor. Brentford, because of their stats, probably average. Average. Southampton, above average, I would say. Leicester, poor. Everton, below average. Crystal Palace in 10th, definitely very good so far. Spurs, about average. Wolves, very, very good. Brighton, very, very, very good. United, underwhelming. Arsenal, good. Liverpool, slightly above average. I'm saying they're only 4 points off the top. West Ham, exceptional. Been the standout team so far. Manchester City, roundabouts where they should be. And Chelsea, impressive start and leading away. So I'd say. Now it's 1-0 England. Oh, they kicked off at 7:45. Okay. Prime Suarez or Prime Aguero? What Suarez we talking and what Aguero we talking? Give me the years that we're discussing this from. What years are we discussing this from? But what I say, you are taking in their prime, in my eyes, because obviously people's primes is different. Suarez over Aguero. But none of this clear stuff. This clear stuff that Ryan be talking, he needs to stay clear of the word clear. That's blasphemy. But I would say Suarez over Aguero. However, if someone made an argument for Aguero, I'm not going to dispute you at all. Aguero, he's probably the most underrated striker in Premier League history. But I remind that people, I didn't say Europe because he didn't really do it in Europe. I'm talking Premier League. The numbers he put up over a 10-year period was ridiculous. The numbers he put up, the trophies that he helped his team win, and he scored against everybody in terms of he scored against all the big six, and he scored against everybody else as well. And even though he was always injured for a couple months a season, he's still only 4 goals off Premier League, the Golden Boot. Like if he was fit and played those 6-7 more games, he's winning the Golden Boot every year. Like without question, to me, Aguero is the most underrated striker in the Premier League in the past 10 years. I believe the most underrated striker in the Premier League history is Andy Cole. But I think Aguero is number 2. Like 100%. Aguero's numbers is ridiculous. His numbers, his impact, his big game impact, the goals he scored, Premier League, I'm talking absolutely ridiculous. Well, I'm taking Prime Suarez over him, yes. Like MSN was different. Like without question. And I believe Suarez is the better striker, yes. Well, this whole clear thing, yeah, you need to clear off with that, Ryan. You wilding. Absolutely wilding with that. To be honest, I do genuinely believe that as a footballer, Prime Suarez is clear of Prime Aguero. It's not even close for me. And that's not even me trying to trigger anyone. Yeah, but you saying as a footballer, that's talent. I'm talking productivity. I don't care about as a footballer. What's your productivity like? Being a talented footballer doesn't win you football matches. Being a talented footballer who is productive wins you football matches. Abdel Tarap, that's why you get streets won't forget ballers. Because they never reached the top level. They were to Abdul Tarap is crazy talented. Well, was crazy talented. Abdul Tarap. Absolutely cold baller in terms of just talent. But was he productive on a consistent basis? No. Even John Joe Shelby, that you big up a lot, Ryan. John Joe Shelby, who you big up a hell of a lot. The talent's there in terms of his ability. It's not an ability thing with him. In terms of on the ball, he's good on the ball, he can pass. Is everything else. How productive are you with that? Can you do that 9 games out of 10 and not 2 games out of 10? That's what that is. What else we got? Let's go. Get your questions in, people, before I close out the show. Man's been a one-man army today. Before I close out the show. Suarez productivity is insane. He could do everything and did do everything. Yeah, it's cold. That's why I said I agree with you. I'm taking Prime Suarez over Prime Aguero. Without question. Like Rand said, Suarez could nutmeg a mermaid. Like 100%. Yeah. I don't know why you're saying this. Aguero's a better finisher. Suarez is. I agree. I believe that Suarez is the better footballer. And I'm taking prime Suarez over prime Aguero. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying in terms of the most talent. I'm not fussed. Me personally, I don't care for just talent. How productive are you with that talent? Ronaldinho was cold because he was extremely talented, but he was extremely productive. Keep saying this. This is why streets don't forget ballers exist. Dimitri Payet was like that. There's many ballers like that. Can you do it on a can you be productive with your talent on a consistent basis? A lot of players can't do that. If you're the most talented player in the world, but you're only productive with that talent 1 out of 10 games, you're no good to me if I'm trying to be successful. You're no good to me if I'm trying to be successful. And that's just how I look at it. Oh yeah. All right, you are is emotional. Big up everyone that's locked. Make sure you hit the like button on the video as well. We're here every Monday, people. It's normally 7 p.m. till 9 p.m., but it's going to be 7 till 8 today, simply because Stroll's not here. But 7 till 9, we are here from a fair dive view discussing all Premier League games, results, teams, etc. And you know what I'm going to do? Run through the next set of fixtures in the Premier League as well. That's what I'm going to do before I close out and give my predictions. The Premier League will be back. Thankfully, it will be back. All right, let's go. Here we are, Premier League. Run through the fixtures. Jam-packed weekend coming up in terms of fixtures. So Saturday, the early kick. Leicester City versus Chelsea at Leicester. That'd be a good game, actually. I expect Chelsea to carry on and do the business. I expect them to bounce back from the disappointing draw against Burnley. Newcastle, Brentford. That's going to be interesting. That Eddie Howe's first game in charge, but I got Brentford. Interesting. And then Burnley Palace is another 3:00 kick. So Leicester versus Chelsea, that's 12:30. And then the 3:00 kicks, this is Saturday, the 20th of November. Newcastle, Brentford. I got Brentford. Burnley Palace. Draw. Aston Villa, Brighton. Again, another draw. Watford, Manchester United. I'm concerned for this. Watford. Oh, draw, actually. How is there so many draws? More draws than IKEA I'm picking it. Wolves, West Ham. Two teams in good form, actually. I'll go West Ham now. Norwich, Southampton. I expect Southampton to do the business. Liverpool, Arsenal, late kick. I expect Liverpool to hold Arsenal's little mini rising. Then Sunday, got Manchester City, Everton. Expect City to bounce back. Not bounce, yeah, expect City to bounce back from the Crystal Palace game. Even though actually, no, they played Manchester United after that. I expect City to carry on and pick up another win. And then Spurs, Leeds. Conte's first game in charge. I expect Spurs to do the business there. There's some good games coming up this weekend. Definitely. Leicester versus Chelsea, I think it'll be a good one. Watford, Manchester United at 3, that'll be a good one. Liverpool, Arsenal, I believe that'll be a good one as well. And City, Everton, and Spurs, Leeds on the Sunday. I think they'll be good ones. I think they'll be good games. Yes, but love to everyone who has locked in. I'm gonna close out the show from a fair eye view. See, there's people here working by myself. Look at this. Get me. Not only am I presenter, I'm also cameraman, also radio producer as well. But big up to everyone who has locked in. Where we at? Ryan says I can see us drawing 1-1 with Arsenal. To be honest, I'm interested to see what Eddie Howe gets out of John Joe. The talent is there. You are right when you say he needs to produce. We'll get back to this. This is exactly what I was saying. Me and Ryan was on the live stream yesterday or the other day, a couple of days ago, discussing this. And it's all about productivity. Talent is all great. Even in this YouTube space, you can have someone who is a great content creator, but if they produce one great video a month, what good at? They're never going to go anywhere. Like, you have to have the talent, but you also have to have the work rate or the work ethic and the discipline. There's so many more things that go into it aside from talent. What's the phrase in it? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I was like, this is why I try my best to work extremely hard in this space to go along with the talent I have. And people continue to, what's it called? That's why you lot tune in to me every day. And I really, really appreciate it. So this is why I'm out here just working my socks off. That's what it is. I can see us doing, you can see he's drawing 1-1 with Arsenal. Why? Oh yeah, you just emotional because you got beat by West Ham and then drew to Brighton. I don't see Liverpool not winning in 3 games. I think you get a bounce back. But yes, like I said, people, please make sure you tune back in next week. We're here every Monday, 7 p.m. Myself and Stroll. We'll be discussing all the Premier League games, including Liverpool versus Arsenal, including Leicester versus Chelsea, including Watford versus Manchester United, plus more. Myself and Stroll giving all our thoughts. We'll be back on the Pi Radio YouTube, also on DAB Radio as well. So make sure you're here. Make sure when you subscribe to the Pi Radio YouTube, you hit the notification bell as well. But yeah, man, love to everyone who has locked in. It's been myself, Flawless, Mr. Take Note. I'm from a Third Eye View. Thank you very much for tuning in.